Boston Celtics get their fifth win in a row. Jayson Tatum dominated the game, but was he working on something? Was this like a practice to him? It's right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Being down, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Prime time, dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And I got you covered every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts on the weekends. Just dropped a bonus podcast after the win over Utah. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. You would have had this directly on your favorite podcasting app. You could always watch the show on YouTube, subscribe there, get notified, ring the bell, and you'll see when I drop a new video. I'm John Karalis. I would love to have you join me in the comments section. I have been joining the Celtics on this ride for about 20 years now, covering the team, doing it as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal now. I've also written a couple of books on the Celtics. If you want to go check those out on Amazon, just search my name. You'll find them. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Was that the Minoc? Weren't those the things on the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Monarch Money. And if you use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year, take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Okay, this is how it's going to be with me today. I got it. No problem. I'm going to power through. Kind of like the Celtics did, right? The Celtics never had a huge lead in this game against Portland, but there was a stretch in the second quarter where the Blazers came back and tied it. But even then it was like, all right, they made their run. The Celtics lead got as high as 18. It was tied at 43. And then the Celtics made a 16-3 run to go up by 13 at halftime. And from there, it was just 10, 16, 17, 11, just bouncing around in there. So the Celtics never pulled away, but they were also, I never really felt like they were threatened. I thought Portland hit a bunch of shots. I mean, they shot 40% from three, 19 of 47. That's going to win you a lot of ball games, but the Celtics were 23 of 50 from three, and that'll win you a few more, especially when Jayson Tatum goes for 39 and 9, 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Fifth game this season where he's fallen one stat shy in either assists or rebounds or both. So like nipping on the heels of a triple-double. That'll win you a lot of games. Jayson Tatum basically becoming a triple-double threat in every game is going to give you a chance to win a lot. And it's been 5 in a row now. It's the Celtics' second 5-game winning streak this month. So they've won 10 of their last 11. They're still 5 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mention it just in case the Cavs go into like a weird funk to end the season. The Celtics are still kind of within striking distance, but not that I'm putting any stock in that. I don't care. But just mentioning it because it's not quite as decided as I originally thought, but it's the fourth 5-game winning streak or streak of at least 5 games this season. So the Celtics, they've won a lot. They can still get to 60 wins if they really want to. They have the league's best road record. If they go, I think 6-1 over the last 7 games, I think that's how many road games they have left. If they go 6-1, they'll have a share of the best road record. They'll have the best road record in team history, If they go undefeated, they'll tie the best road record in NBA history. So these are the road warriors, the road dogs, as they say in Celtics world here, with Luke Kornet doing all of his barking after all of his plays, which is hilarious, objectively hilarious, that Luke Kornet's running down the court going, "Roo, roo, 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 roo." It's funny to me. But the Celtics, yeah, man, they're 52-19. Remember not that long ago when there was some question about, hey, can they get to that 40 before you lose 20? They still have not lost 20. They're at 52-19. So they are still, even with everything that they've gone through in the middle of the season, they're still only a few games off of last year's pace, which is amazing when you think about it. That's amazing. They spent a month not playing great basketball, up and down basketball, inconsistent basketball, some good, some bad. That's what inconsistent means. They struggled to reintegrate Kristaps Porzingis. And by the way, no Jaylen Brown, no Porzingis, no Drew Holiday in this game. So shorthanded again. They didn't play Neemias Queta. They didn't play Jordan Walsh. They went with a 9-man rotation. And they still are right there. Only a few games off of last year's pace, off of a championship, with Kristaps Porzingis missing a big chunk of the beginning of the season, with Al Horford and Drew Holiday kind of pacing themselves, Drew especially pacing himself in the early part of this schedule, with the Celtics going through their funk in the middle of the season, not always playing their best defense, especially at the beginning of the season, trying to win with shooting. All of that, now they have started to pick things up, and they're winning all of these games. They're putting in the effort. They put the effort in against Utah. They put the effort in against Portland. Portland's no joke, 32-40. I know everybody thinks about them as the tanking Blazers, but at 32-40, they're not great. They are also shorthanded. They didn't have a few of their players, obviously no Robert Williams, but they are tough. They're tough. They play hard, and you have to work to beat them, and the Celtics worked to beat them. So the first thing here is, well, yes, obviously Portland is not as good as Boston, but these were games that the Celtics weren't exactly, getting up for in that middle portion of the season. Now it seems like they've put things together at 52-19. That's what, 671 games. So there's 11 games left. This is it. This is ramp up time, and they're ramping it up, which is part of why Jayson Tatum played almost 37 minutes, and these guys play big minutes. I've seen this question floating around. Why did they play so many minutes in a meaningless game? You do have to play these guys big minutes now. It's going to be, I would like to see them rest Tatum now on the back-to-back. As I've said a million times, this feels like it could be a good split squad. Jaylen was out partly because, he's got that bone bruise. They said he's going to be reevaluated Monday. We'll see if Monday brings him a little bit, some clarity. Maybe he's going to play. Hopefully he'll play, because hopefully he's healthy enough to play. I do want to see him get to that 65 win plateau. I want to see him get the All NBA. I want to see him be rewarded. I want to see him be happy about that. And that benefits the Celtics, so, but nothing that ever puts him at risk. But anyway, with Jaylen, Drew, and Kristaps out on that back-to-back against Sacramento, which is not tough, right? Portland to Sacramento is easy. It's a later start. You got finished in plenty of time to get down to Sacramento to get some decent sleep. There was a 3:00 start local time. So by the time they could get to Sacramento in plenty of time to get to sleep at a normal time and get ready for this game. And, if Tatum sits, then you have the potential for, like, Al Horford will definitely sit. Maybe Derek White plays. You can have the guys who didn't play fresh for this game. Should be enough to beat the Sacramento Kings. So I just kind of like how everything's laid out. But you still, Tatum is going to play big minutes against Phoenix. He's going to play big minutes probably against San Antonio, because you got to start giving these guys playoff type minutes. Let's talk about Tatum, because I thought Tatum, when you say take what the defense gives you, Tatum put on a masterclass in that. Plus, I think he was working on some part of his game. Talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. We've all done this. Check a bank account and you go, where did all of my money go? I'm pretty sure I had a lot more in there than that. But listen, I take my wife out to dinner. I do a little bit of online shopping. These t-shirts that I wear on the show, they ain't free. So, sometimes you get you lose track. So Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you can stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When you start using Monarch, you can realize how much you're spending on things like food delivery or eating out or anything. So you can now budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, even plan long-term goals. And like I talked about, with my wife, we can use it to manage our money together. Makes the whole thing smoother, track shared and personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page. No stress. That's really helpful. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Now, please sign up for that Locked On Celtics newsletter. Go to LockedOnDaily.com. Click on the Locked On Celtics logo. Enter your email, and then Monday through Friday, I will send you an email that has Celtics coverage, NBA coverage from the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Fantasy gives you fantasy coverage. Plus, we've got links for the great Celtics coverage around the web. So check that out. LockedOnDaily.com. Click on the Celtics logo. Enter your email. Jayson Tatum was spectacular in this game. He did everything except hit three-pointers. He was 1 of 7 from 3, 11 of 24 overall. So what's that? 10 of 17 from 2, 7 of 7 from the line, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers. But those turnovers were all at the end. I think the game was very well in hand at that point. I thought he took care of the ball very, very well for the first. He played 36 minutes and 46 seconds. So I'll say for the first 33 minutes or so, he took care of the ball very well. And then he had a bad stretch, looking for fouls and getting frustrated, and got another tech. The 1 of 17 from 2, 6 of those were fadeaway jumpers. This is the part where I think Tatum was working on something. He took an abnormal amount of mid-range fadeaway jumpers. And I was like, this is interesting. Like he'll take 1 or 2 a game, sometimes 3, never really more than that. Taking 6, I was like, is he working on this shot? Which I hope he's working on this shot. This is a perfect time to be doing this. So if he's out there saying, well, I could drive or I could shoot this, I want him to take that shot. I know we want him to drive and get to the line and get fouled and dunk and all that stuff, which he did plenty of in this game. But I am of the opinion that this is basically a glorified practice for these guys. And I know Joe isn't of that opinion in at least publicly. He is not the one to say like, oh yeah, we're trying new things and blah, blah, blah. No, he's putting it out there. We want to win. We're playing hard. We've got things that we need to work on, yes, but we need to be better and we need to be winning. So privately, there's no Nemish Keita in this game. So with Porzingis out, they went single big in a lot of these minutes. I don't recall seeing any double big in this game, maybe briefly. But for a team that has gone a lot of double big, it would have made sense if they wanted to keep doing that to put Keita out there. Maybe they want to go double big on Monday night against Sacramento because, well, no, they don't have Sabonis. But anyway, maybe he wants to go double big and, help with Porzingis. Maybe you want to save Keita because he's going to play big minutes against Sacramento. I don't know. But this was a big single big game for Boston. So they went different routes with their lineups. So Tatum working on something, I'm all for it. That mid-range shot is going to be, that's a playoff shot. That's a fourth quarter playoff shot where they pack the paint and Tatum needs to take that one-legged kind of Dirk fadeaway. If that's unblockable for him, it's there anytime he wants it. If he wants to take that shot now and start working on it and perfecting it and getting the feel for it in game situations, that's great. Because fourth quarter, Celtics with a lead, if he can start knocking those down, forget it. Because between him and Jaylen Brown, those shots will fall with some real regularity. And it's going to be hard for any team that's behind the Celtics to come back. And we've already seen, like in this game, and I did a whole big breakdown on Boston Sports Journal. After the game, Joe Mazzulla said, and it seems like a stock kind of quote, I thought he was processing defense, coverage, matchups. He did a good job of taking what the defense gave him and then making adjustments along the way. And you hear guys say that a lot. You take what the defense gives you. And in this particular game, that's exactly what Tatum did. However they defended Tatum, he made the right play. So, first of all, switching onto Donovan Clingan. And poor Donovan Clingan got roasted. Just roasted. Drew Carter at one point in the game is like, Donovan Clingan is in hell trying to guard these guys. He's going to be having nightmares for the next week trying to, figure out what Jayson Tatum was doing to him. But when he switched onto Tatum just busted him. When someone stepped up to help, drop-offs to Tatum, lob to Luke Kornet. If they didn't step up to help, it was a dunk. If they played drop coverage, three-pointer. If they blitzed him, he dumped it off to Al Horford for a three. Or there's one play where he just so good. They blitzed him and he just like, okay, no problem. He went from below the hash mark up to almost half court, drawing that defense, drawing him out. And then he just turned the corner on, might have been like Denny Abdia, whoever the slower guy was. He just turned that corner to his left and then fired a lefty one-handed pass to Luke Kornet. And Kornet, beautiful play, right across court to Peyton Pritchard, who hits the three. That kind of stuff that Tatum was doing, just anything that they threw at Tatum, he devoured it. It's some of the best basketball that we've seen Tatum play, some of the best overall basketball. He's had monster games before, right? I'm not saying he hasn't had huge games. He's had big scoring nights. He's had huge scoring nights in a game 7. Obviously the 50-point game against Philly. He's had big elimination games where he's kept the Celtics in a series. The game 6 in Milwaukee. Those games are obviously big, but this is the best overall basketball that I've seen Tatum play, the February and March, because the way he's running the offense, the way he's manipulating the defense, the way he's reading things, the quickness of his decisions, it is spectacular to see. He is doing things like, boom, in a blink, turn the corner, whatever the read is, you make it. No hesitation. That's the beauty of Tatum. And if you watch him closely, if you pay attention to how many one-handed passes he's making off the dribble. He's not just, if he's dribbling with his left, he's not bringing the ball up to his right hand and then throwing a chest pass all the time or throwing up. It's so often, if he's dribbling off to his left, like he did on that pass to Kornet, just off the dribble, fires it with his left, one hand, boom, on a dime, bang. And that little thing, first of all, keeps the defense off balance because they don't, when you see a guy bring it to his hand and then pass, it's just that little fraction of a second. You're like, okay, here it comes the pass. Maybe I can jump this pass and, jump into the passing lane. That off the dribble, he's dribbling, and that passes out of his hands. Now the defense scrambles. Everybody reacts to that. And then the ball that when Luke made that next pass, everyone was moving towards Luke because they're like, everybody said, oh, crap. And then Luke makes that gorgeous cross-court pass to Peyton Pritchard, and it's a wide open shot. Like no one's around. Just watch how many off the dribble one-hand passes with either hand Tatum's making. Little tiny wrinkle in his game that's just, it adds that extra fraction of quickness to the play that just makes that defense go, oh. And as soon as you can surprise that defense and you get them a little bit of, I got to do this. Any little tiny thing like that, it doesn't sound like much, I know. But at this level, any little thing like that draws a reaction from the defense is in your favor because you can now hit them at that reaction point. They're going one way, you go the other. Tiny advantages, but Tatum has never been reading the game any better. He's averaging like 7+ assists per game. If you remember back in, a month ago or more, almost 2 months ago now, where I said, make a note, post All-Star, Jayson Tatum might average 7 or 8 assists for the rest of his career. He's at 7.3 now, I think, 7.5. Post All-Star break. He's never averaged more than 5 and change. So it's a different level, Jayson Tatum, and we saw that in this game. Let's get to Luke. Let's get to Sam Hauser. Let's get to the three-point shooting, the bench. A lot of good individual performances. That's all coming up when I come back. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out the new Locked On NBA Game Night podcast. I say new. It's been going on all season, but I'm there on Fridays with Jake Madison, generally speaking. And it's a great way to keep up every game. We talk about every game, the stories out of those games. So go check it out. And then when you subscribe, you get an extra podcast, the regular Locked On NBA podcast that drops in the middle of the day. So 2 podcasts on that feed. Sam Hauser, 8 of 10 from 3, 8 of 11 from the field. The one that he missed was a layup on a gorgeous cut. And I think it was Derek White that hit him, and he smoked the layup and put his hands on his head. He's like, oh, I mean, I can laugh at the missed layup now when they win by 13, but it's funny that he hit 8 of 10 from 3 and he missed the layup. But just another one of those nights where, like, look, the Portland defense is not great, and they're shorthanded and they're not who they want to be yet. But that the spot ups and the shooting on the move, the everything, he's nights like this combination of what the Celtics did, it makes them unbeatable. I mean, they put up 129 points, right? The defense wasn't always great, but even against good defense, the Blazers were hitting some shots for a while. They were banging some threes, but the Celtics the offense was humming. They 23 of 50, 46% from 3. So the Celtics almost never lose when they hit 23 3-pointers. Tatum drops 30. Sam Hauser hits 8 threes. Like, that's That all I need to tell you. Those three stats. If you were to ask me out of nowhere, how did the game go? I'll say the Celtics hit 23 3-pointers. Sam Hauser had 8, and Tatum had 30 points. Forget the 9 points and 9 rebounds. That is even unfair to tell you that. And 2 block shots and a steal. You'd ask me, what do they win by 30? But yeah, Sam, great job overall shooting. Everybody who took a 3 made a 3, which is good. The only guy who didn't take a 3 was Luke Kornet, because why take a 3 when you're Luke Kornet? 6 of 6 from the field, Mr. Putback, Mr. Catch a Lob. I mean, what a season Luke is having, right? And the road dog thing and him going up and getting those offensive rebounds, like the holding a guy off with his right hand, going up with the left and tipping it in and getting the putback dunk and all of that stuff. Like, Luke has been amazing. 3 offensive rebounds, 3 assists. He moves the ball well. He does everything you need him to do. They got great minutes, I thought, from Baylor Scheierman, who somehow was the only guy in negative plus minus, but I'm not really holding that against him. Hit a couple of 3-pointers. I thought Baylor did a really good job. I don't expect him to be a playoff contributor, but what I'm seeing from Baylor Scheierman, I'm like, wow, he's got good size. He moves well. He's making the right plays offensively. He tries defensively. He's not always great, but the effort is there. The want to is there. And I'm like, I think that Scheierman is a hit at the 30th pick. I think that's a hit. I don't think this is. I don't think it's fake what we're seeing from him. I think he's just playing well. I think he has the opportunity to be a contributor. Now, what level contributor? I don't know. Maybe he's always going to be a 7th, 8th man. Maybe someday he'll be a starter. At this point, I don't know. I'm not going to judge who he'll become based on his rookie season, but he's starting to make a contribution. And as we said in the previous podcast, if he's getting playoff minutes, something bad has happened. But if something bad happens, you're starting to get at least a little bit more comfortable with the idea of, hey, a few minutes of Baylor Scheierman might not kill you the way we thought it would kill you before. And to be clear, and nothing against Baylor, we should not be seeing him in the playoffs unless it's garbage time, one way or the other. It's the only time he should be on the floor. But the way he's playing now, if for some reason he gets pressed into service, if he can keep his wits about him, I'm like, I'm still afraid of it because he's a rookie, but I'm softening a little bit, which is what you can ask for, all you can ask for. But great contributions. I thought the bench did a great job. They still lost the bench points 38-28, but when the other team's bench scores 38, usually the Celtics struggle, and that's a point of like, wow, they're getting crushed on the bench points, especially when Pritchard starts, which was his first start of the season. But look, Kornet had 13, 6 for Scheierman. Torrey Craig hit a 3-pointer. He gave them some decent minutes. I thought that was pretty good. You even got some decent J.D. Davison minutes. He came in and, they contributed. It's like I said, 20, was it 24, 28, 20, it was 28 points, 38-28. So they did enough to make it less of a problem, right? It didn't hurt because the starters combined for 101. Pritchard started, gets 3 quick fouls, which is, of course he does. I was looking for him to drop 50 in this game, but he only had 16. But nice game for him. Nice game shooting wise. I think he hit like 3 in a row after starting maybe 1 for 5, and then he hit 3 out of his next 4. So that was a nice night for him. Derek White, a typical Derek White game, 17 points, 8 assists, timely shots, timely passes, just 2 steals, a block. Derek White stuff. The typical Derek White. When I say, like I say on Boston Sports Journal, I put things I liked, things I didn't like, and I put Derek White in the things I liked, and I just say, why? Because this is the type of game that why. So, look, it's still Portland, and this is what you should do to Portland. But Portland's a tough team, and I thought this is a nice solid win, missing 3 of their starters to go in there and get this kind of performance from Tatum. They're lucky that Tatum missed a couple of these shots that he took, but nice game from him. And like I said, when you're burying threes, the way the Celtics did, doesn't matter. I'm curious to see. I don't know what the injury report is for Monday, but I'm curious to see if Jaylen is back. I hope for his sake that he is back, that the bone bruise is not a problem, and that he can play, because he's going to need to get ramped up as well, and that he can get to his 65 games. So I hope that's good. We'll see. I will have a post-game podcast. It'll be late. It'll be very late because it's a 10 p.m. Eastern start, and I am still at home covering the game. So it'll be a late podcast. So make sure you're subscribed. This way you'll know. It'll just show up on your favorite podcasting app, or you can get into the YouTube page. You can subscribe there, ring the bell. You'll get notified when I drop a new video. You can hop into the comment section, share your thoughts there. And then I would love it if you shared the podcast and told everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.